There was a Jumanji animated series in the 1990s, and it ran for 3 seasons. And I had absolutely no idea. But honestly, this is not that surprising. It's not surprising at all. The 1990s was a second golden age of American animation, and really the golden age of television animation in America. On the adult side, you had The Simpsons, you had King of the Hill, Futurama, and then an explosion in high quality, artist-driven television shows, animated television shows for kids. That was a space that was traditionally dominated by cartoons that were explicitly created to sell toys. They were tie-ins to toys. The toy came first, then the show. Every broadcast and cable network at the time, they wanted to get in on the action. They wanted to get in on this animation frenzy. So you had just a million kids' cartoons based on live action movies. Back to the Future, Men in Black, Bill and Ted, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Free Willy, Police Academy, Karate Kid, Teen Wolf, Beethoven, Ace Ventura, and then you even had kids shows based on adult movies, RoboCop, Rambo, and Basic Instinct. So on the Load Bearing Beams podcast, where we did an episode about Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, we did a deep dive into the history of Jumanji and the long, long quest for Sony Pictures, Columbia Pictures to turn it into a franchise and specifically get a sequel off the ground, get a sequel starring Robin Williams off the ground. And for whatever reason, it was difficult. They had trouble with the script. They had trouble getting Robin Williams. What they were able to do was make this animated series that ran from 96 to 99. The company, the animation company that produced it was called Adelaide Productions. They were a subsidiary of Sony Pictures. Their job was take Sony's live action movies, turn them into cartoons for kids. They did this first with Jumanji, then they did it with Men in Black, and they did it with Extreme Ghostbusters. They went on to produce the Dilbert TV series. Their best known work, I think by far, is The Boondocks. So yeah, again, it wasn't a surprise for me to see that there was a Jumanji animated series, but you know, I read the Wikipedia and saw the people involved, and I did kind of a double take. Like there are some legit animation legends involved with this show. The most notable name is Everett Peck. He did the character designs for the show, and it's evident right away. Everett Peck is best known for Duckman, the comic and the animated series on USA starring Jason Alexander. You can tell right away these are Everett Peck character designs. Watching the 2 episodes of the show that I did made me a little sad that we've just lost. You just used to get a variety of animation styles, and every animated TV show today looks like Bob's Burgers, and that's fine. And I love Bob's Burgers, but you used to get a real variety. Like go back. I'm sure that in your memory you think of Rugrats as just like a delightful, cute cartoon, but actually go back and just watch 15 seconds from any episode of Rugrats and try not to vomit at the way the characters look. You won't be able to. And it's a good thing. We need variety. We need more fucked up animation. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, Jumanji ran for 3 seasons for a total of 40 episodes. And that's 12 short of the standard 52 episodes that a network would order back in the day for a kids show. The idea was you get 52 episodes. That's just long enough for kids to watch beginning to end and then watch again and again and again on into the future. And only if you get like a mega hit like Rugrats will the network eventually be like, fine, produce more. But Jumanji was supposed to be the flagship show for UPN Kids. This was UPN's attempt to get into kids animation. Every network had a block of kids animated programming on Saturday mornings. UPN's difference was ours is on Sunday mornings. UPN itself, by the way, fascinating story. If you're into the history of television, it was the attempt by Paramount to get into the linear TV network game, launching basically a 6th television network. And it struggled for years before it merged with the WB to create the CW, which is still around today. But anyway, UPN Kids had Jumanji. It had an Incredible Hulk show, but their big problem was the Sunday morning thing. And they had to air on Sunday mornings because they shared programming. Basically, this is all like TV network thing. They owned the crappier TV stations in all these markets, and these crappier networks that literally owned the broadcast signal. They licensed with Fox Kids to provide their kids programming. So they'd have Fox Kids on Saturday and then UPN Kids on Sunday, and all the advertising would go to Fox Kids. Nobody knew about UPN Kids. If you're as old as me, let me know if you remember actually watching this in real time. Anyway, Jumanji the show. The 2 main creative voices on the show, besides Everett Peck, they are Richard Reynes and Bob Hathcock. Richard Reynes has been one of the most important non-creative executive producers on The Simpsons since it started in 1989. Bob Hathcock comes from the DuckTales empire. He even directed the theatrically released DuckTales film, DuckTales the Movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. So between those two, and Everett, Peck, and then some of the names I saw in the voice cast, like Tim Curry, Charles Napier, Dabney Coleman, Roddy McDowell, and then like every voiceover legend from the era, Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, E.G. Daly, Christine Cavanaugh. It seemed like this might be an actual thing. I might be on to something with this Jumanji show. And yeah, I watched 2 episodes and like, it's really good. I honestly enjoy it more than I enjoy the Robin Williams movie, which I don't like very much. But the premise is it's just a loose adaptation of that movie, but instead of the stuff from the board game coming out into the real world, rhinos running up and down your staircases, Judy and Peter, the 2 kids, they get sucked into the board game and they meet all kinds of crazy villains, and they're aided by the Robin Williams character from the movie, Alan, except here he's played by Bill Fagerbake. I never know how to pronounce that name. He's the guy who plays Patrick from SpongeBob, another animation voice legend. But the conceit for every episode, which I think is a fun hook, is you have to solve a different clue. It's a fun hook for a kid's show. The kids get to move between the real world and the game world, but Alan is stuck in the game world, and the whole show is a quest to get him out of the game. They basically have to help him beat the game and get out of the game. And in the series finale, they do it. What I was most impressed by, besides the charm of the animation, was the sense of danger in the show. It's funny, but it is mainly an adventure story with a real sense of menace. Like in the first episode, they're hunted by this guy named Van Pelt, and he hunts man for sport. He also, his name Van Pelt and his appearance, like he's a white supremacist from Rhodesia. They don't say that, but you can tell. Like, you don't want to hear this guy's racial politics. The jokes, they're all underplayed. They don't undermine the danger. I was really impressed by how well the show was able to pull that off. So I then watched the 5th episode of the show, Master Builder, because it has William Sanderson in it playing a character named J.S. Ibsen. I had just watched Blade Runner the week before, and here he's basically playing his character from Blade Runner, J.F. Sebastian, and playing the same thing. He's an evil guy who makes evil robots for Jumanji that will go kill children.
Nasty little creatures, aren't they? I'm rather proud of them.
And I thought, this is pretty crazy to have, where else are you going to find a kid's animated show where they have the guy from the super dark sci-fi movie from the 80s play his character from back then. But I forgot that William Sanderson was also in 4 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, where he played robot maker Carl Rossum. So this is at least the 2nd time that William Sanderson did this. Anyway, should you watch Jumanji the Animated Series? I mean, no. I mean, like, there's other stuff to do in life, but there's worse ways you could spend your time. If you have the thing that people had in 2009 after they saw Avatar, where they were depressed that they couldn't live in the world of Pandora, if you have that, but it's about Jumanji, I got great news for you, because there's 40 episodes and they're all on YouTube. You can watch them for free. You can go watch Jumanji, the animated series.